I want to go through just some from another Trump event. This was in Iowa, kind of a town hall of sorts he held where he spoke, but he also got asked some questions. And we'll start with his favorite subject: the election was stolen.
Pennsylvania, we were so far up, hundreds of thousands of votes ahead. And all of a sudden you saw that drop at, 3:02 in the morning with, the chart coming down, 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 down. The votes are running out, pop, 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 bing, bing. And all of a sudden we lose Pennsylvania.
So the correct thing he said there was that he lost Pennsylvania. The bing, bing, less factual. Just to translate what he said there, what actually happened was not all the votes were counted. It looked like he was leading. All the votes got counted. He wasn't leading anymore. That happens constantly because guess what? When you count more votes, sometimes it changes the results. Shocking. Especially because he encouraged his voters not to vote by mail. So then once the mail-in votes got counted, it was going to go more in the direction of Democrats. Why? Because he told Republicans not to vote by mail. So obviously more of the mail-in votes are going to be Democratic. And back then, it always is fine. But especially back then, you understand why a lot of people wanted to vote by mail, because there was a pandemic going on. Then he says this about Ashley Babbitt on January 6th.
Ashley Babbitt. They shot Ashley Babbitt for no reason whatsoever. They shot a thug. He was a thug who shot her. And it's a disgrace. The way they've treated those people is... and everywhere I go, somebody brings up the whole J6 situation. The way they've treated those people. You watch what happens. You watch what happens. Yes, sir. Go.
I think he means he'll pardon the January 6th defendants. And it's not a coincidence that he's constantly calling the black police officer who shot Ashley Babbitt a thug. Obvious dog whistle there. But also, I've said this before, if there's anyone to blame besides the fact that Ashley Babbitt was invading the Capitol, violently trying to break in and all of that, if there's someone else to blame, it's Donald Trump, because he lied to Ashley Babbitt. He got her so angry about the idea that the election was stolen, even though it wasn't, and there's no evidence for that. And Trump himself paid researchers to look into the swing states that he was making claims about and try to prove that there was widespread voter fraud, and he couldn't. They came back to him and said, sorry, we can't find the evidence of what you're talking about, and still he lied about it. And then January 6th happened, and Ashley Babbitt, based on the lies she was bought into, invaded the Capitol, attacked the Capitol, tried to overthrow our democratic process and prevent the certification of the election. That's heartbreaking that she died. It absolutely is. Any loss of life like that is absolutely heartbreaking. But the reason that she died, number one, the police officer was not in the wrong. And number two was because Trump lied to this mob of people. So Ashley Babbitt and her family, if they want to blame, and I'm not taking away from the fact that it is sad, even if someone's bought into those lies attacking the Capitol, it's still sad that she died. It is. But it's because Trump lied about the election at the end of the day. And of course, every adult individual is responsible for their own actions. But also, you should blame Trump. Then on the subject of vaccines, also really interesting to me, the fact that he wants to take credit for the vaccine being developed while he was president, which I think he could take credit for funding, buying, pre-purchasing vaccines. That was a correct decision on his part. Every president would have done that, but he did it too, and that's something he could take credit for. But his audience hates the vaccine, so then he kind of has to grapple with this subject in a strange way.
Yeah, well, everybody wanted a vaccine at that time. And I was able to do something that nobody else could have done, getting it done very, very rapidly. But I never was for mandates. I thought the mandates were terrible. And there's a big portion of the country that thinks that was a great thing. You understand that. Not a lot of the people in this room, but there is a big portion. I had a man come up to me the other day who's actually a Democrat liberal guy, a friend of mine. And he said to me, I don't even know if he voted for me, to be honest, but he's a friend of mine, smart guy, but very liberal. He said, why is it you never mention what you did with the vaccines? I said, no, thanks. I'm not going to be doing that right now. But, there is he said, it's amazing you save so many lives. There's a big portion that feel very much the opposite. We can understand that. We can handle that. But I hated the idea of the mandate.
Do a little introspection, Trump, and try to think about why is it that those who generally accept the consensus of the scientific community, the medical experts, all of that, why is it that they, those you're opposed to, are on board with the accomplishment of getting the vaccine developed? And it was medical experts who developed the vaccine, and then you did what most presidents would have done. But why is it that they are okay with it? Your followers, who you have assisted in training to reject the consensus of experts, you rejected the advice of Fauci often, or went off with your own things during that time and lied about so many different subjects while you were supposed to be leading during this unprecedented pandemic. Your followers are against what is objectively a really good thing that happened, which was the vaccine coming out when it did and saving so many lives. Do a little introspection on that one. Then you have this really, number one, what he's talking about is actually interesting on the part of DeSantis changing his name, sort of, or the pronunciation of his name, I should say, DeSantis versus DeSantis. And Trump's making fun of that, but in the process, he makes up a word. Very strange.
A big mistake. Just like you don't change your name in the middle of a election. Change his name in the middle of the election. You don't do that. You do it before or after, but ideally you don't do it at all. I liked it before anyway. I liked his name better before. I don't like the name change. Should we tell him that? But most people don't know what I mean. No, he's actually sort of changed the name. Let's a syllabolic, they call it. Once a syllabolic name. But we are doing really well. We're just up on everybody. You have people coming into the race. You know, they're polling at 1%, 2%. I don't know what they're doing. They must know something. They're not very, some are stupid. I know actually some of them are pretty stupid.
Right after making up a word, syllabolic, the assumption is he was going for syllabic, but syllabolic is what he decided on. Then he's calling other people stupid. All right. I guess he can do that. But what he's referencing with Ron DeSantis' name is actually really strange. It's not the biggest thing ever, but it is strange. Take a look at this compilation of the difference between how he pronounces his name from one moment to another.
I'm Ron DeSantis. I'm Ron DeSantis. I'm Ron DeSantis.
My husband, Ron DeSantis.
I am Ron DeSantis. I, Ron DeSantis. I am Ron DeSantis. At rondesantis.com. I'm Ron DeSantis.
So I don't.
And then this is Nicole Wallace responding.
I don't work on campaigns anymore, and that is a good thing. But a guy that doesn't know his name is dead before he gets out of the gates.
Is DeSantis and DeSantis the largest story in America right now? No. But when covering a presidential candidate, it's a little strange that he would be toggling back and forth. You should know how you're going to pronounce your name by this point in your political career. I get that DeSantis, he could kind of go with one of those, but let's go with one of them and keep it that way. And he actually got asked about this very subject and got a little annoyed.
There's been some confusion over your last name and the pronunciation, and I'm just wondering, to correct the record, what is it?
Oh, that's ridiculous, these stupid things. Listen, the way to pronounce my last name, Winner.
Ooh. Nailed it. So we'll see what he does with his name. But there it is, Trump in Iowa. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.